Good morning, everyone. My name's Darren Schock. I'm with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs. This is the Digital Main Street Update session, helping Ontario's Main Street communities and small businesses thrive. It's my pleasure today to introduce the Digital Main Street team, and OBIAA team as well. And that's about it for me. I'm going to pass it over to Kay Matthews right now, and she's going to take us through the rest of the session.
Good morning, everybody. Familiar faces? Anybody come to our session last year? No? Anybody have a digital service squad in their area? Quite a few of you. So how many of you therefore know about Digital Main Street? Okay, that's it. We're done for the day. Thank you. We're going to start. So here are your speakers today, officially Darren, but I would like to take a moment as well to acknowledge the Digital Main Street team, some of the creators here. Chris Rickett is here, John Carew from the Toronto Association of BIAs, and Riley Lee from the Toronto Association of BIAs. Marlise is my project and marketing manager here, and she's been our godsend along the way, yes. And Daryl, of course, Daryl is the Digital Main Street manager through the TABIA aspect of it, because there are two aspects to this one. If you don't remember or do know that this was a project started by the City of Toronto and the Toronto Association of BIAs, and through OMAFRA, we have had a $12 million project that we have been working for over and through since October of 2018 at this point, I believe. Grants actually went live October of 2019, and we're going to give you some information on that in a moment. So the first one is me. I'm the Executive Director of the Ontario BIA Association. I have overseen Digital Main Street, the Ontario Initiative, aspect part that 12 million project. I represent over 300 BIAs in the province of Ontario, and BIAs, of course, are celebrating their 50th anniversary this year, as the legislation under the Municipal Act was actually created in September 16th, 1970. So the exciting thing about this is not only are there 316 BIAs in Ontario, but there are BIAs all across Canada, the United States, Scotland, UK, China, India, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. In other words, this is a tiny piece of legislation that has revitalized downtowns and business areas across the world. So we're really excited about celebrating this year. And Antoinette, right here, is the founder of Kismet Digital, and she has been working at the Digital Service Squad level as well, from Durham region specifically. Dorothy, on the far end here, is with the town of Oakville, and she's been the lead in developing for the digital service, Digital Main Street for the town of Oakville, and implementing it as well. Thank you. And of course, Daryl oversees the execution of the Digital Main Street project from the very beginning, and has been traveling quite a few miles to talk about this project. So here we are. Ontario is open for business, and this project is helping small businesses across Ontario to be open and to be more digitally adept, to learn what they need to purchase, learn what they need to do in order to accomplish the goals that they've set out for their business. And that's the wonderful thing about this project. It is all based on what the goals of the business are. So it's not a cookie cutter process, and that's one of the brilliant things around this one. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Digital Service Squad, which is the group that goes door to door and helps each business as they help to expand their thinking, their knowledge, and their implementation of digital technologies for their business. This is going to be a video called Takeover Tuesday, which many of the Digital Service Squad members are doing.
Hi there, I'm Bailey Regier. I'm the Digital Service Squad Team Lead for the Goddard BIA, and I'm taking over the Digital Main Street Instagram today. I've been working really hard with small town businesses in Goddard here to get them up to speed on some digital technologies that make their lives easier and make them easier to find online. So this is where the magic happens. This is the BIA office. Ali likes to work at the conference table. She's a summer administrative student with the BIA. Sue is the BIA manager, and she kind of worked really hard to bring Digital Main Street to Goddard. Goddard is going a new direction. We've got a lot of new blood kind of in the area, and lots of entrepreneurs that are really shaking up the business mix, which is a really cool time to be working here. There are some really exciting things happening in Goddard. A lot of the businesses in my BIA have worked really hard to become more visible online. I've been really lucky to work with all these phenomenal business owners in the Goddard BIA, as well as working to explore new technologies with them and kind of learn with them. We've really grown together, and it's been a really awesome journey.
Yeah, so you can see that the Digital Service Squad members who have actually gone business to business have been a really interesting mix of people. So wonderful energy there, because you have to be able to present yourself and talk and actually get in the front door and then actually be able to help the members. So what we've got is this dynamic group of people all the way across the province. And on this, I'm going to turn it over to Antoinette, and Antoinette's going to take it from here. Thank you. Hold the applause, I'll be back.
I'll take it back.
Good morning, everyone. Is this thing on? Okay, it's on. Good morning. My name is Antoinette Burrell, and I am. Is it not on for real?
It is. It's good.
It is on. I am a Digital Service Squad team member representing Durham Region. So there was myself and one other colleague who was unable to make it today, who basically served Durham Region on the street and worked with the BIAs. Before I get into my presentation, I always have to emphasize that even though I've worked in tech-related companies for most of my career, and we're just inundated with technology and digital communications all day long, it never ceases to amaze me that the most meaningful relationships always come from that face-to-face interaction that you have. And that's why when I was approached by our Business Advisory Center in Durham by Teresa to be a Digital Service Squad member and walk around on the street talking to people, talking about social media, giving away free money, I'm in. So it's been a really exciting opportunity, a great job, and I'm here to just tell you what it's been like from day to day and give you a sneak peek into a day in the life of a squad member. So we'll talk about some of the wins and also some of the challenges that are involved in the role as feet on the street around the local BIAs. So how do we help business owners? What do we actually do? What service do we provide for them? How do we add value to their efforts to promote their business and grow their business? It's broken down into these main categories: advisory, website improvements, social media help, Google My Business presence, and in a lot of cases, helping people to transfer from just store sales to online sales. So we really emphasize with them the importance of their digital footprint, particularly in areas where they might be facing some challenges, such as, construction on the road. That will definitely reduce foot traffic. So it's always a great idea to develop strategies to help them get known before people even have a chance to come by the store, to create a buzz and awareness and knowledge of what they have to offer without them actually ever even being there. So if myself or the other squad members aren't specialized in a particular area that they need, we will refer them out to one of the many vendors that are on our website on digitalmainstreet.ca. We also help them with setting up basic websites if they need it. And also we help them to learn how to come out of their shell in terms of promoting through social media. So a lot of business owners do really well with social media. We help them to even do better. So getting more engagement, stimulating sales, getting appointments. So a lot of the little tips and tricks that we know because we've been working in the business as digital content providers or, any type of technology specialist. We give them that extra edge that they may not have been aware of. And another really important initiative that we kicked off was getting people set up on their Google My Business page. Best way to get found, because if you want to know something, you ask Google. Or Siri, but I like Google. So we were also given a really cool toy, which is a 360 camera. So we offered to take a picture of their shop or their restaurant or their office, wherever it is that they were. So it would give people that virtual experience and encourage them to come in and do business with these people more frequently. And then finally, through one of our partners, Shopify, we would help some business owners to set up and launch their online sales, which would, of course, increase their sales not only locally, but across the city, across the province. And in some cases, one of my clients was starting to get orders from as far away as, I think she said it was either Switzerland or Germany. It was a really big deal, though. So definitely beneficial. And in terms of, what happens first, second, and third, how we step through the process of working with the business owners, we would start with a shop visit to introduce ourselves. Then there would be an onboarding sessions, just helping them fill out the form to input their information to our database. And that way we can keep track and stay in touch with them and offer continual support. There's also a working session that we would book. So if they really needed more insight on, for example, setting up an email marketing campaign, that's when we would sit with them side by side and actually help them implement the things they wanted to do. So it went further than just advisory. We would actually get work done for them side by side and teach them as we go along. When it came time for them to apply for the grant, we would sometimes review their application and give them little pointers and tips in terms of how they'd be more effective at getting approved for the grant. And then, of course, there's always the follow-up support to make sure that everything is okay. We don't want to leave anyone hanging, and letting them know that we really are here to help them. So in terms of a day in the life, I'll just go through this really briefly. We would literally just walk on the street, walk into whatever place of business we were in on that particular day. We would give them our business card, tell them that we're working with the local BIA, and then just talk about the services that are available to them, and always make that sort of open door that they can call us back or they can email us, and frequently set up an appointment to spend more time, because sometimes we would go and they were really in the middle of a busy time. So we would schedule appointments when it was convenient for them. And then back in the office, we do our admin work. So go back and make our notes and yes, make follow-up appointments as well as needed. So in terms of challenges, here are a few that I experienced, and I think it's the same with some of my colleagues. Connecting with the owner is tough. A lot of times business owners aren't always the people manning the shop. So often you'll come in and you might see the receptionist or the cashier, but you might not see the owner. So it took a little bit of persistence to finally make that connection. Gaining trust was another thing, because they do experience a lot of people walking door to door, selling them things that they either don't really need, or things that are probably, services that are not right for them. So it was kind of tough to get them to recognize that we are a reputable organization, and they could actually work with us without fear of, getting a large bill at the end of the process. And again, we always had to make sure we showed our value and encourage them to follow through with watching the videos and filling out the application form. And just as I'm about to wrap up here, a few challenges were definitely these were things that we saw on a regular basis on the side of a business owner. So skepticism was one. People might not really know who we are. Some of us were lucky enough to have a really cool jacket that said Digital Main Street. Some of us had t-shirts, but not everyone. So we always had documentation available to validate that we were working with the BIA, people who they knew, so they would trust us as a friend of a friend, so to speak. And fear of technology was a very real thing. Business owners might be really great at what they do, but not necessarily at how to promote and show value to their potential customers. So if they were uncomfortable with technology, we really had to make sure that we weren't going too quickly or giving them an information overload, just approaching one thing at a time at a pace that was comfortable for them. Lack of time was another challenge. we would sometimes just offer a timeline to say, listen, I know watching 8 hours of video is a lot, but if you break it down half an hour a day, it would take you, 10 days or whatever it was. So we would just help them to see that it really wasn't a difficult process to apply for the grant. And then finally, fear of the unknown. So what I would like to do from time to time is mention somebody who was on the street who had already applied for the grant or who had been approved for the grant. So if it's somebody that they already knew and trusted, they could feel more confident that, myself, who's a stranger just walking in, was actually connected to a real organization, and we really did follow through on the offers that we made. So I would say, Martha down the street at the bakery, she got the grant. If you're not sure if you want to go any further, go and speak to Martha. And that way you could help build a trust relationship between the shop owners, business owners, and myself as a squad member. And finally, this really is our ultimate goal, to help and support business owners so they can improve their digital footprint. We were really just there to help them and give them the support and the knowledge that they needed to make some meaningful gains as they went through their business from day to day. So we're going to move on to the next portion of our presentation, which is just having a look at a case study. And it just shows the transformation that was made from Haven Home. It was a gift shop, and the owner just will speak to us for a few moments about her experience working with Digital Main Street.
Hi, I'm Kathy Lee, and I am co-owner and partner of Haven in Collingwood, Ontario. We've been in business about 1.5 years now, and my sister-in-law and I opened the shop. We really wanted an opportunity to showcase the items that we make, as well as handcrafted items from the region, locally, or even nationally across Canada. We do a lot of the handcrafted signs. Janice does a lot of the knitting and the blankets, the big chunky knit wool throws. And then we also have added in a lot of pillows. We go locally for our candles. So we were really motivated to apply for the Digital Main Street grant because we wanted to expand our tech footprint. We wanted an online presence so that we had an additional sales channel that we could reach customers with. The online training that we got was excellent. We had no idea what Google My Business was. We also thought we knew a lot about social media strategies, but we learned so much more. One thing I think as a small business owner we're not so good at is taking time to pause and reflect and evaluate on what we're doing. The training in the Digital Main Street program showed us a little bit about Google Drive. So we set that up for all staff to use, and it gave us time to pause and reflect and really look at the numbers and see where we were going. Digital Main Street is extremely important for small businesses. Technology is coming so fast and furious at all of us, and this is the exact program that you need to succeed. I would definitely recommend the Digital Main Street program to others. It gives you the knowledge and confidence to build and grow your business. My business is on Digital Main Street.
Okay, and on that note, I'd just like to pass it over to Dorothy, who's going to give us some more information.
Good morning. I'm going to give you a bit of a perspective from an economic development office and how we got involved in the program. And there's a lot of slides here that show you where Oakville is, and I'm sure all of you probably know exactly where it is. So I'll just keep clicking through. Okay. So we got involved with the program. We applied on behalf of our 3 BIAs, and we implemented the Digital Main Street program in all 3 commercial districts. The expansion of the program from Toronto into other areas came at a very opportune time for us. And little did we know when we applied for the program just how valuable it would be. The trigger for us getting involved in retail was the development of our new economic development strategy in 2018. And prior to that, We had always felt that our BIAs and the Small Business Enterprise Center that was delivered at the regional level provided all the support that our commercial districts needed. But in implementing our strategy, our prior strategy over a 10-year period, we were increasingly being pulled into the issues that the BIAs were facing and the increased competition. Now, last year, the issue in our downtown BIA grew exponentially. So in response, we needed to develop a plan to help them. So last year, we started the construction of our downtown, called the Lakeshore Road Reconstruction Project. And that was a major infrastructure engineering project with underground works, new sewers, new water main, hydro, and so forth. And the town took the time to took that project to invest another $20 million in revitalizing, taking out our center lane, putting in wider sidewalks, new street furniture, light poles, digital technologies, and so forth. So this program spans 2 years. We're in the middle of it right now. And I can tell you, we've had a lot of concern, and the disruption that it caused, we continue to hear from businesses. Please do it faster, get it done as soon as you can. So in response, we created a mitigation plan, and that mitigation had elements of construction mitigation, communications, economic, and events. The Digital Main Street program was actually a surprise element in that plan. So the mitigation plan included things like free parking, additional parking. We reduced fees for patios. We had fee waivers for permits. And we introduced a dedicated liaison staff to provide an interface between the town, the business, residents, and contractors. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about how that program worked. This is our team, and you can see Daryl right in the center of it. Our liaison staff are on the outside of this picture, and Rachel's here in the audience. And our digital service squad, Nadia and Michelle, are in the center pictured with Daryl. Together, we had a really great combination of resources and initiatives through the mitigation plan. And our digital service squad had access to Daryl and the Digital Main Street team in Toronto, and that provided a whole other level of resources that we wouldn't have been able to provide on our own. So one of the things our liaison staff did was provide communications to get the information out to our 3 commercial districts about the program. And a couple of challenges we faced. First, in hiring the staff, just internally, we could only hire part-time people. So utilizing the money we had for the program, we ended up hiring 2 part-time staff, which worked out quite well because they are very different personalities, different skill sets, and they've really complemented what we've been able to provide. The second challenge we had was at the outset, there were some service providers that were in the community saying that they were delivering the program, and yet they were charging for their services. So in response, we created this postcard that provided the pictures of the officially town-sanctioned digital service squad, and that seemed to remedy the situation rather quickly. So the assistance, and Antoinette's covered a lot of the assistance in the program. It took many forms: website development, digital strategy and content development, navigating Instagram, creating a Google presence with 360 photos, creating a Shopify store and loading the inventory on it, and assisting with applications for the Digital Main Street grant. The Digital Service Squad helped many different types of companies. We had restaurants involved, retail goods, professional services. I think we had lawyers and dentists, a taxi company, a music store, and a yoga studio. The Digital Service Squad found there was a really varied level of knowledge and expertise, so that the program in each of the stores was tailored to their specific needs. I'm just going to touch on the impact it's had in our community. So with the training and hiring and so forth, we got the program and our service squad out on the street by about mid-2019. We had, this graph shows the number of businesses assisted in each of our 3 BIAs. as well as the grants that they applied for and received. The word is spreading in our downtown, especially with the Reconstruction project, and we're getting more and more interest. There's no need to be knocking on doors. We're getting people coming in, and the success really begets success. Businesses are telling each other about the program, and it's working very well. These testimonials speak to the value that the businesses derived from the program. And I note that this wasn't a one-time, let's go in and give you some advice on what you can do. Our service squad was back in developing a plan, working with the companies to implement the plan, and going back again and again to follow up. So I can't say enough about how much, how appreciative the businesses are that took advantage of it. This testimonial speaks to the long-lasting benefit of the program. You know, beyond our construction project, these companies are going to take their businesses to a whole new level because of this program. And the delivery of the program really was tailored to their specific needs. In addition to the one-on-one assistance, our digital service squad found that there's a lot of interest in learning about Instagram. So they held a series of Instagram workshops, and the attendance at those workshops increased every time as people understood, you know, how beneficial the programs were. So what's next for us in Oakville with this program? Well, this is a picture of where we hope to get to at the end of the year with our downtown reconstruction project. We've entered the second phase of construction now, and not surprisingly, we are still getting lots of complaints from the businesses. Can you do it faster? Can you get it done by September? But we know that with the success of the Digital Main Street program from phase one, that this program is only going to be more and more successful. We plan to continue it throughout the whole year. And I said at the outset that this program came at a very opportune time for us. It helped all of the businesses in our three commercial districts. And I can tell you that we would never have been able to implement a program like this on our own. We didn't have the time nor the resources to do it on our own. So we're very, very pleased that we could benefit from it. It came at a great time. I continue to get calls from businesses unsolicited, just telling me how very pleased they are that they've been able to participate in the program. So we are very, very big fans of Daryl and his team at Digital Main Street. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to him to give you some more information on the future.
That was worth every dollar I paid Dorothy to say that. So really, so before I jump into kind of, what the rest of the year looks like, how we're going to continue operating, I'd be remiss if I didn't add an additional thanks to, not only our team at Tabia, Chris, Marlise, Kay, Azlahan, Rosemary, everyone else, but honestly, most importantly, Darren, Rick, sorry, can't forget you guys for all your support, but everyone in the room. Dorothy made a very good point there about time and resources, and that applies to us as well. Having all of you support us, buy into the program, really partner to deliver it locally for yourselves, we couldn't have done it without you. So honestly, thank you. It's been wonderful. And in terms of opportunities and continuous support, a lot of you participate in it already. What we've tried to do with the program, the way we've structured it, is build a community around this concept. Yeah, we tried to build this idea of community around it, not just have it be a very black and white, one-directional program. That includes everything from, the way we've structured access to the website for our local partners, the way we've, built our CRM to provide that to our partners. So operationally, we wanted to provide that full 360-degree support package, so you guys really are, in charge of Digital Main Street locally, and that was important to us. So that's going to continue. Access to, our team, Kay and the team, John. Our Slack community, which has become one of, if someone asked me what was the most valuable thing we built out of this program, outside of obviously the financial component for businesses, it was this Slack community. We've got 2 channels that have 100 plus people in each, and it's really become a hive mind brainchild of, the Antoinettes of the world. We've got one of our fellow squad members there, all of our regional leads, myself, Kay, Marlise, and the learning and the teaching and the growing has just been incredible. And that's really been fantastic to see. We do these masterminds twice a week. A lot of you have, I'm pretty sure all of you have probably received an email from me at some point. You've listened to me chat. You guys have shared feedback. What I'm getting at with all of this is as we move forward, nothing is really going to change. So the way the website is built is the same. The support that you're going to receive from all of us is the same. The ability to interact with, our CRM and our website is the same. The ability to be part of that Hive Mind network is the same. If you're in a region that, by the way, for whatever reason doesn't have a service squad and wants to get involved, please come and find me. I'll be here all day. There's a ton of opportunity to get involved outside of just the grants. The platform itself is still completely available and relevant to all businesses. It's completely free. So we've got about 20 workshops left over the course of now till June. The training is completely accessible. So there's no financial component at the end of it, but it's still very valuable, relevant content, easily accessible to all of your businesses, any business for that matter. And the assessment, everything to do with Digital Main Street, both locally and kind of from our HQ is accessible. It's there. The support is there. So I didn't really want to kind of go into this idea of what's next because, we're very proud of the way we built the program, the community that we've built with all of you guys, how we've structured it all. And again, that's why I started this with saying thanks, because it starts, with the support Darren and Rick provided with their guidance, then building it out with, John, Kay, and our collective teams, and then again, building out that additional layer with you guys. So I'll be around all day. If anyone wants to chat one-on-one or talk, I didn't want to ramble because I know we're tight for time. But again, I just wanted to say thank you. It's been an incredible 2 years, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you. Kay, I guess I'll turn it back over to you.
And I would echo a lot of Daryl's words. It has been an extraordinary ride. One of the things I do want to mention, a couple of things, is we have talked about BIAs quite a bit. So many BIAs did start the process, but it's also been a great deal of municipalities and some areas that don't have BIAs but do have a main street. So we have been able to reach every corner of this province, and we're very excited about that. So my job is to talk about the numbers. You all have a piece of paper on your chair there, and there are more if you'd like to take them, but it's my honor to give you the numbers of where we went from October 15th, when we unveiled the grant process with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs at the Shopify headquarters in Ottawa to where we are as of December 31st. Now, the numbers on the piece of paper that are on the chairs are from December 31st, which was our last reporting period with the province. And I'm going to give you the numbers as they stand today. The grant process did close December 31st, but we left the portal open for 10 days. Just because of Christmas and all of the busyness around there, and understanding that a lot of businesses possibly had a bit of a challenge cramming at that very, very busy time of year. So if you're looking at the total number of grants, at this point, the total number of grants approved are 1,315. So 1315 as of yesterday. Which actually translate at each grant being $2,500 to the small business. That's $3,287,500 has been actually awarded at this point. So we're very excited about that one. Currently, we have 537 grants still in the review process or about to be reviewed. 381 were received in those 10 days between December 31st and when we took the portal down. So 381. Our office is a little busy right now. So the total number of grants that we actually have received, and we had 2,152 available. And I'll explain that in a second. But of those, we actually have received 2,548 digital transformation grants from businesses across the province. And as I said, Powassan, Timmins, every direction you can think of across this province. We made sure that we reached out to you whether you had a BIA or not. Of course, the BIAs was the easiest avenue to get to, but we made a really very strong goal and challenge was to find out what main streets are out in the province. We know that number now, and we're able to help from there. From December 15th to the 31st, we received 937 grants. So total, even though we have 2,152 grants available, we are actually still in the process of reviewing over 2,500, of which 1,315 have been approved. There are quite a collection that are pending as well. We're maybe asking more questions, and we have had to deny about 200. So not very many, a little less than 10%, and it's because they hadn't read the eligibilities properly, basically. And again, the numbers are there for you to take a look at. The wonderful thing about this project is that it is a learning tool. So small businesses are actually learning who to pay attention to, because there are so many people walking into their businesses every day saying, I have the newest, shiniest, sexiest tool that you need in your business. And they're so busy running their business that they're having a real challenge with that one. So those 8-hour videos, we've had 8,167 businesses finish them. And in reviewing the grants, many of them are coming back and saying, we're going back and looking at those videos again because they've become a continuous learning tool. The other aspect, and it has been mentioned, is that we actually, from the OBIAA office, we engaged with Camp Tech, and we were obligated to provide 60 training workshops across the province. When we realized how valuable they were and re-looked at the budget, we were actually able to do 80 trainings. And then we were obligated to do 12 webinars. And at this point, we're going to do 18, a bit more than that, 19 webinars. And of course, Camp Tech will be coming to the OBIAA conference, April 19th to 22nd. Just a bit of a commercial there. And it will be held in Toronto as well. And they're going to be doing a session that we're going to be recording, and it will be a bit of a legacy piece that will be held on our website. So we've engaged 1,367 businesses. This is as of December 31st. This number is still growing. And that's the exciting thing about that one. And we've had 2,860 who have actually completed the training, these are pretty compelling numbers. Of the actual digital service squads, 58 have been led by BIAs specifically. In other words, they're the ones that did the application and have done the hiring and done all of that. And we have had 42 led by municipalities. The advantage of the municipal ones is that they were able to group many, many areas together. And as our friends in Huron East can attest, that means that if you have a broader or more rural area, by grouping them together, that they were able to get more of a reach. So they have come to us at both different directions. Some of them have been led by municipalities, some led by small business enterprises, some by BIAs. There's been one or two by chambers. So the actual grants have come from all different directions and have, as I mentioned, tried to tackle every single municipality in the province. We did learn that some of the municipalities don't have a recognizable main street, so they weren't able to take advantage of that. But do we still want, as people, to be able to walk up and down our community main street? Yes, in my mind, I think we do, especially the more we go into online. That ability to connect through community and this project have meant that these Main Street businesses have had more traction, had more ability to survive and thrive in today's economy. So again, here's the numbers. The numbers are fantastic. And we really certainly hope we can carry on in the future. So that, I think we're just about on time at this point. So this is Digital Main Street. This is your team here today. And we thank you for the opportunity to work with your community and to grow Digital Main Street. And always a special thanks to Darren Schock. When he cajoled me, he strengthened me, and he was always a rock at moving this project forward to the level that it has today. So thank you all, and thank you especially, Darren. Okay.